DeMeco Ryans moving on from San Francisco, where he's been the defensive coordinator for a couple of years, most likely to the Texans. He's told the Broncos, no thank you. As I tweeted last night, and man, this really triggered some Broncos fans. The new ownership group is realizing quickly that running a football team at the NFL level is far more difficult than buying and selling household goods on a razor-thin margin. You can't really control some of the key decisions that end up being made regarding your football franchise, such as who's willing to come coach your team, especially when you have a quarterback under contract that plenty of people think has had his best days well in the rearview mirror. They've wanted DeMeco Ryans, supposedly. Now he passes on them. Jim Harbaugh, they met with him twice. Greg Penner, the CEO, went to Ann Arbor. That's significant. When the CEO, one of the most successful men in American business, goes to Ann Arbor instead of Ann Arbor coming to him, that speaks to a level of desperation by the Denver Broncos. Sean Payton, who knows where that stands? So, I mean, this is supposed to be about DeMeco Ryans, but the background to all of this is the Broncos, some of the members of that ownership group reportedly wanted him, and he decides he's going to Houston instead. And he played there. It makes sense, but that's where it's pointing, and that's good for the Texans, Myles, not good for the Broncos.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great for the Texans. I think it's a great story, but B, it makes a ton of football sense, right? I mean, you get somebody in there who has a history with the franchise, and it's not like it's even a franchise that's that old, right? It's significantly younger than me. So I think that's one thing that actually connects him to the fan base, and that's a good thing. But you also see what DeMeco Ryans has done as a coach, as a coordinator. I mean, you get Fred Warner talking about how it makes him emotional knowing that it's probably the last time he's going to play under DeMeco Ryans. And DeMeco Ryans had been his position coach, then was his coordinator. So I think that tells you a lot about what those guys with the San Francisco 49ers think about him. And he obviously presided over the most successful defense in the regular season that we had this year. You know, when you're number one in points allowed and total yards allowed, that means you're the best defense in the league. So I think that it's really encouraging for the Texans that they were able to kind of make this let's call it fait accompli, as it seems like it's going to be. When you're talking about the Broncos too, and they basically make it known publicly by whether it's their choice or not, that he's their number one pick for coach, and he ends up going to Houston, a franchise that we all kind of think of as dysfunctional. I mean, it says something about both of those teams and both of those situations, and kind of probably the anvil that on the organization that is the Russell Wilson contract.
That really is amazing to think that the Broncos may emerge from this process coming off as more dysfunctional than the most dysfunctional team other than the Commanders for slightly different reasons. But from football perspectives, the Texans have been the most dysfunctional by far the past few years. They win a tug of war with the Broncos for DeMeco Ryans. Great for the Texans, not great, Bob, for the Denver Broncos. Isn't that the line you like to use? Not great, Bob, for Mad Men?
It is.
See,
yes,
I'm hip.
Yeah,
I'm hip. I'm with the times. Although that's a series that's becoming a little dated as well. It's been a while. Yeah. It's a very old show. Okay, so this really isn't. The more I think about this, you know, one of the other issues with the Broncos, too, and now we can pivot past the fact that it's expected that DeMeco Ryans is going to be the coach of the Texans at some point this week, barring something unforeseen, and we know none of these deals are done until they're done. More on that in a second. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.